Greetings, YouTube! I thought to create this little series of videos on the topic of repetitive strain injuries, something I myself and numerous others out there have been suffering from a long time. Myself, I've had various symptoms and problems with shoulder, elbow, wrist, and believe it or not, hip and knee. Mostly on the right side, since I'm right-handed. I've had these problems for going on 12 plus years now, and I know what a pain it can be and how debilitating and how frustrating it can be to suffer from RSI, or repetitive strain injuries. I read somewhere online, for instance, that the third time you experience bad RSI symptoms, it becomes permanent. And thinking back, I experienced my third time when it got really bad, so bad that I couldn't work and I had to stay away from the computer and so on. My injuries, as you may understand then, are computer related. It started to get really bad in, like, I don't know, 2000, 2001, something like that. And at the time I was working pretty much around the clock, sitting in front of the computer every waking hour, and not realizing what damage I was causing to my muscles and tendons through overuse. And I also play the guitar, and I strum with the right hand, or pick with the right hand, which is pretty much exactly the same muscles and tendons used at the computer, keyboarding and mousing. I've accumulated a number of tips and little tricks throughout the years. Some stretches, some tension release stretches, some posture things you can do to improve your posture, like walking, for instance, is really good. I try to walk at least half an hour a day, sometimes more than once. And of course, any kind of regular exercise that isn't too strenuous that you can do. Myself, I practice Qigong, or a form of Qigong called Falun Gong, which has been tremendously helpful and has alleviated symptoms to a degree where I can function pretty much normally again on a day-to-day basis. When it got really bad, I'd be laid out flat in bed, just, moaning basically, because I was in so much pain and discomfort. And of course, things to stay away from also. So I'm assembling a series of videos here. I will start after this introductory video, explaining a little bit about myself and my symptoms and well, my expertise, basically. How do I know what I'm talking about, kind of thing. Because I am not a doctor. I do not claim to be any kind of health practitioner, but I speak from personal experience. So, moving on. RSI, repetitive strain injury. You can contract these types of injuries through any number of awkward or repetitive positions of either work or whatever. Most common in tennis players, painters, same repetitive motion, tennis players back and forth with the arm, painters up and down, back and forth. Same muscle groups, overused. Basically what happens with RSI is the muscle is continuously in use and is never allowed to rest. And in my case, I had a double whammy effect, as I used the same muscles at the keyboard and mouse as when playing the guitar. So the pure physical aspects of it basically is things like nerve compression, muscle and tendon inflammations, things like knotting of the muscle tissue, where basically the muscle fibers contract, and there can be fluid buildup and stuff like that in the muscle or tendons, or the fluids inside the tendons can become almost solidified, or they thicken. So the tendon looks like a tube, where the tendon is inside that tube and slides back and forth as you contract or tense a joint or muscle or limb. And if that fluid is too thick or it becomes inflamed, you can have all manner of weird symptoms, like decreased mobility or pain or discomfort when doing simple things like picking up a coffee cup. Like when my RSI got really bad, I had to hold my teacup or coffee cup with both hands because I'd drop it. If I picked it up with my right hand, I'd immediately drop it. I couldn't grip. And of course, things that alleviate the symptoms. I will go into at length what you can do with a simple tennis ball. See, this one even has my first initial on it. It is mine. And you can accomplish a lot just with a tennis ball. Like, I'd pick it up and just squeeze it like this, and I apply pressure like I'm crushing the tennis ball right now, and that trains the strength of not just the lower arm muscle, like all the muscle groups here in your lower arm, and also provides some release for carpal tunnel like symptoms, which I have developed in both arms now, the right one being the worst. So I spend on any given day about 2 to 3 hours stretching and doing exercises at this point, because I made the big mistake of starting to play Star Wars The Old Republic, an online MMO game, which kept me at the computer all waking hours again, and it got so bad at one point that I was laid out flat in bed for 2 days and couldn't move, and was just, path of least resistance kind of thing, where I would move only when absolutely necessary to go to the bathroom or get up and eat, whatever. But also, one thing that helped a lot was quitting smoking, something I'm still struggling with. I'll still stupidly have the occasional cigarette, but I'm working on it. And of course, smoking does all kinds of damage to your body and your respiratory system, your cardiovascular system, your body's ability to move junk out of your muscles, basically, because junk will accumulate, like, toxins or whatever. So it's also important to get a good healthy dose of antioxidants in your diet. If you do not get enough antioxidants in your diet, you can supplement, of course. A, C, and E being the important antioxidant vitamins. And also, of course, I don't recommend relying solely on supplements. I do recommend a balanced diet, of course, but taking a multivitamin or something can help a lot. Also, vitamin B6 is very good for restoring tendons and helping the body recuperate from an injury. So getting a good healthy dose of vitamin B6, sometimes even like double or triple the recommended daily intake for a healthy person. See your doctor about that, or go to your pharmacy and get a good vitamin B supplement. Not necessarily a B complex, which contains all the riboflavin and the B12s and all that, but a pure B6, which you might have to go see your doctor for. You can get either injections or tablet forms. That has helped a lot, of course. Balance, general balance, balancing diet, exercise, and work, and taking breaks at the computer, something that is hard if you're addicted to the computer and the internet like I am. And you'll notice me sitting here squeezing a tennis ball for a good long while, because it helps. And what else as an introduction? Like I said, I have a few years of experience of alleviating and well, not treating per se, but treating my own symptoms, being my own doctor, so to speak. And because the problem here in Sweden is where I live, doctors don't generally have enough experience to even diagnose these types of injuries. So it's very hard to get a diagnosis and get help from doctors. And I've seen any number of physical therapists. I went to when I lived in the States, I went to a chiropractor, which ended up messing me up even worse, because that was not the problem. The problem was muscular and tendular, and not there was no problem with my spine, or nothing that serious, as the chiropractor led me to believe. But of course they were after my money, so, and gullible and in pain as I was, I fell for it and saw the chiropractor, which made things worse, and I ended up paying for that in the long run. Among others, I have this crick in my neck that I can't get rid of, which occurred after those months of chiropractic visits. My neck crunches when I move to the right. So yeah, but anyway, enough about that. So yeah, this is just a brief few-minute introduction, and videos to follow. I will be getting a better webcam, an HD webcam, so the instructional videos on stretching and so on will be in higher quality. Hopefully you will appreciate that. But if you have any questions regarding RSI or stretching or exercising or diet or whatever, I can, from personal experience, relay a lot of information to you and point you in the right direction if you're suffering or struggling with any kind of RSI symptoms, and they don't have to be specifically accrued at the computer. I mean, I'm pretty sure that what I've learned and what I've developed here through trial and error, and basically you know, learning what feels good and what doesn't, and what is beneficial and what is not. I'm pretty certain that some of those stretches and tension release stretches that I've come to know and love could help maybe even peoples of other professions or people. So yeah, moving along, so as not to make this too long-winded, feel free to comment or contact me directly via the YouTube mail if you have any questions, or you just want to talk about your experience or whatever. If you have anything to add, of course, I will take that into consideration in future videos, and I will do my best to be as of much assistance as possible to those out there that may come across these videos. So as I'm not working right now, I have nothing but free time. I do some volunteer work here and there, but I'm not employed, so feel free to contact me if you have any questions or comments. Alright, so see you later, YouTube.